I bet you've heard this 1,000 times. Your past doesn't define you. Everybody says it. Pop psychology says it. Self-help books, Instagram, motivational quotes, they all lean on it hard. But here's where most people get stuck. They hear it and think it means forgetting what happened, erasing the evidence, pretending that the checkered parts never existed. And when you try that, you just end up white-knuckling your way through life, hoping nobody brings up what you used to be like. But what if the real shift isn't about erasing your history? What if it's actually about changing what your history means to you? That's the question I had to answer. I've got a pretty checkered past, drinking way too much, a temper that really got the best of me a lot, not listening to good advice, being an asshole when I had no business being one. I was basically a walking masterclass in do not become this person. For years, I thought the answer was to forget it, to self-medicate my way through it, to outrun it. And surprise, surprise, that didn't work. Turns out you can't outrun your old self, especially when you're carrying a brain loaded with all that crap. So today, I'm going to show you the exact mechanism that flipped the switch for me. Not theory, not inspiration, the biologically driven mental shift that gives you the keys to unlock your past so you can learn from it. Your brain treats your past identity like a part on an assembly line. There's a cue, you have a memory, a smell, a person who reminds you of who you used to be. Then your brain runs this routine, the belief about yourself that you've repeated to yourself 1,000 times. I'm someone who always screws things up. I'm not trustworthy. I always mess things like this up. And then comes the reward, which isn't actually a reward. It's the familiar pain. It's what I call the shame cycle, the avoidance you've practiced so many times that it feels just like home. This isn't weakness. This is how neural pathways work. Repetition carves grooves. The more you run the script, the deeper that groove gets. And eventually, your brain stops questioning it and just executes it automatically. You become a zombie running old programming. Now, here's where most people fail. They try to ignore the past or they just forget about it. But that doesn't rewire the loop. It just adds another layer of shame on top. Your thinking brain, your prefrontal cortex, knows you're more than your worst moment. It knows you've changed. You've learned. You're different now. But your amygdala, that alarm system in your brain, it doesn't care about logic. It doesn't care about reasons. It cares about threat and survival. So when a shame spike hits, or you're back in an environment that triggered that old identity, that alarm floods your whole system. And suddenly, you start believing the old story again. You feel like that person. People get stuck in three main ways: wallowing, using the past as permission to give up, like the past is a life sentence. Now, this one feels safe because at least you're not trying anymore. Now, overcompensating, trying to prove you're different by being perfect, which is exhausting, and eventually it's unsustainable. Or compartmentalization, pretending the past didn't happen. So it leaks out sideways as anger or anxiety that you just can't explain. All three feel like solutions. None of them are. Hi, I'm Will Dieck, college professor and longtime martial artist. And here's where the science gets practical. Your brain doesn't actually care about your past. It cares about what you decide your past means to you. For years, I thought the answer was to outrun what I've done. I held on to my failures tight while simultaneously trying to erase them with marijuana and alcohol, which is basically trying to delete a file on your computer while that computer file is still running. The shame would spike. I'd medicate. The loop would reset. And nothing at all would change. That's not recovery. That's just slapping a Band-Aid on a broken bone. Real change started when I finally stopped fighting the facts, I sat with it. I was that person. I did those things. That really happened. No story, no justification, no excuse, just acceptance. And then came the reframe that changed everything for me. But that's not my life sentence. That's my training data. One keeps you in prison, the other makes you a student of your life. Think about how a martial artist approaches a loss. They don't hate the guy who swept them, well, maybe for a minute or two. They study their footwork, the timing, the mistake that opened them up. They ask themselves, what did that teach me? What won't work next time? Every loss is data. Every painful exchange on the mat is information you own now. Your past works the same way. Every mistake shows what doesn't work. Every painful choice teaches you something about how you respond under pressure, what triggers you, where your weak spots are. You didn't break yourself. You just found where the real training needs to begin. My drinking and anger taught me something specific. I needed tools to manage my nervous system. I needed breathing. I needed intention. I needed structure. That's not a character flaw. That's a competence gap identified. Huge difference. One makes you feel broken forever. The other makes you feel like you have work to do, which, yeah, is a lot less comfortable, but at least it's not a life sentence. Here's how you start separating your past from your present identity. Think of an action you're ashamed of. Something you've told yourself proves who you are. Now ask yourself, is that action the same as the person? I made bad choices is not the same as I am bad. You could change actions. You can't change a fixed identity. That's the trap. But once you see the action as separate data, you can ask, what was I not skilled at in that moment? What did I not know? What was I not managing well? Look at what each experience actually taught you, even the ones that still hurt. My years of avoiding responsibility taught me about avoidance patterns. My temper taught me about nervous system deregulation. My inability to listen taught me about defensiveness and ego. These aren't personality flaws, they're feedback signals. Once you see your past as data instead of destiny, something shifts. You stop running that old habit loop automatically. You get to actually choose how you respond to a trigger instead of being hijacked by shame. But knowing this in your head is only step one. Your nervous system needs to feel the real shift, not just think about it. Here's what people don't expect. Even after you intellectually accept that your past is training data, your body still remembers the old pattern. You'll walk into a room with your friend group from the past and suddenly you feel that old version of yourself. Someone will make a comment about something that happened in your past and your gut will drop. You'll fail at something and the shame spike will have you feeling exactly like it used to. Your nervous system doesn't download updates. It has to be retrained. You need a somatic anchor, something physical that interrupts that old loop and reminds your body, this is old data, not current reality. When shame or that old identity feeling hits, your amygdala is running the show. Logic is offline. You can't think your way out. So you have to work with the biology first. This always starts with your breath. 4 seconds in through your nose, hold for 4, then 6 seconds out through your mouth. Do that 3 times and something shifts. Your parasympathetic nervous system, your nervous system's brake pedal, activates. Your body moves out of the alarm mode. Now your thinking brain can come back online. Pair the breathing with a physical anchor. Pinch your thumb and forefinger together or pinch the skin on your forearm. You control the sensation. You're building a signal that says, I'm here, I'm choosing, I'm not in danger. While you're breathing, replay a moment where you chose differently than your old identity would have chosen in the past. See yourself staying calm, speaking from intention. Pair that memory with the pinch. You're literally installing a new neural pathway. Your body learns through physical practice, not just through thinking. Before a triggering situation, a reunion, a family dinner, a hard conversation, simulate yourself responding as your new identity. Don't just think it. See it vividly. Your brain can't tell the difference between a real experience and something you vividly simulate. So you're pre-installing a new response before you walk into the room. This works where willpower fails because you're not white-knuckling or fighting it anymore. You're rewiring the automatic loop by stacking awareness, nervous system regulation, and embodied practice. Your past becomes the best education you never wanted. When you stop fighting your past and start learning from it, everything truly shifts. Not because you're suddenly perfect, but because you're no longer running on autopilot. That's the black belt mindset. History is your training, not your prison. Now, grab my free course, Your Path to Personal Transformation. It walks you through some of the exact reframing and breathing exercises that we covered here today. I'm going to drop the link in the description. And hit subscribe for more brain-boosting hacks that take minutes but change everything. It's an easy and free way to support us, and you'll boost your brain power along the way. Until the next time, this is Dieck wishing you only success.